PR Connections Radio presents.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Inside the Music. I am your host, Tina Bryce. Thank you for coming along with me on this ride as we deep dive into the Las Vegas music scene and we turn up the volume. Today, I'm very excited. I have an up-and-coming Midwest Emo band based here in Nevada called Crumbcatcher. I have Jack and Corrine today, so please go ahead and welcome them to the stage.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Guys, how are we doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing pretty good, I'd say. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you. So first off, where are you from?
So we formed in Vegas as kind of like my solo project back in 2019. And around we were in 2020, we were supposed to play our first show. Obviously, things happened in 2020 that made that a little difficult. So took a break for a while. We released our first record, and around that time, I brought in some more people to, I guess, work with me and kind of turn it into more of a band instead of just a solo project. So, yeah, Vegas, I guess, to answer your question.
And Corrine, about when did you join the band?
So really funny. Jack and I, like, this is our apartment. We're partners and everything. So Jack was kind of wondering who's going to play for this show in 2020, the one that got canceled. And I was like, I will do anything for you because I really love you and I want you around. So I learned how to play bass, and now it's just, that's my instrument. That's what I love to do.
That is a killer love story. I gotta say, I learned it for you.
Yeah, I'm very, very thankful for Corrine for doing that for me. It's very difficult to find bass players for bands. So it's like bassists and drummers. It's like they're all in like 20 different bands. You know?
Be glad that I enjoy the instrument.
Yeah, I'm very happy.
Yeah, I heard something that was like, I forget what it was, but they were talking about how the bass player is always the one who just never got chosen, and they're just like, they get forced into the position. I'm like, yeah,
pretty much, yeah.
I promise.
So who would you say are some of your biggest influences?
I'd say, so on the record we just put out, Infinite Feedback, a lot of Frank Ocean, Steely Dan, Michael Lucius, the person that I wrote the album with, that's like their favorite band of all time. I'm also really heavily influenced by like the Beach Boys, but then also I'm really into a lot of I guess like late 90s, early 2000s screamo, emo, post-hardcore bands like Thursday and like Census Fail, and Elliot is another really big one, American Football, you know, all those types. So I think that we kind of draw influences from everything, though. Infinite Feedback is a very sonically diverse album, and it kind of just came from me wanting to write whatever I wanted to write. You know, if I wanted to write an indie song one day and a post-hardcore song the next day, that's what we did. So,
no, yeah, I was actually listening to the album earlier, and as I was listening to it, I'm like, I'm almost getting like shoegazy kind of vibes to it. Then I'm also getting some jazz vibes. At one point, it sounded like one of the old Beartooth albums.
Nice, yeah.
Like, this has everything. It's super, super interesting because each song is different from one to the next, but they tell a story. You've talked about, or not talked about, but on the website it says, you know, the first half of the album is your older self kind of realizing who you are, and then the second half is your younger self and all that like angst that you still have. Yeah. Where did you get that idea?
So it kind of started out as whenever Mike and I started working on the record, we wrote the songs Soft Triangles and Bit Crusher, and those were kind of like the thesis statement for the project of like, I think it'd be cool to do something that's like kind of indie and then something that's, you know, a little heavier like post-hardcore emo, and combine the two, because I feel like personally the two genres are much closer than a lot of people think. It's just the amount of distortion that one has is significantly more than the other. So regarding the concept, I over the 4 years that I spent working on the album, there was a lot of a lot of existential dread that started setting in as I got older.
4 years.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, of course, like, you know, a lot happens in 4 years. You grow up and you change as a person. But it was like, for us personally, it was a lot. So,
Yeah. Lots of crazy stuff happened. And that was kind of my way of coping with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was very therapeutic for me to write about it. And then I kind of, as I continued writing lyrics for the songs, I noticed a thread of, that I was going from like the older perspective to younger. And so, meshed them together.
So when you were writing it, were you kind of having, like, almost as you were writing it, you were having the discussion and it just kind of like popped out and then you're like, okay, we're going to separate it?
Yeah, pretty much. We didn't know how to pace the album at first because we had like all these emo songs and then all these indie songs. We're like, how do we? Because you can't go from one to the next. You know what I mean? It's and so we decided to kind of do the two halves thing, and then I wrote the song Death Bloom smack dab in the middle to bridge the two together.
Interesting. I like that. Corrine, do you do any of the writing as well?
Yeah, so I have a lot of input on the lyric. Jack and I have gotten into not like fights about this, but it's just like I'm not the end all be all for lyrics, but I am the final person going through all of the lyrics and saying like, hey, this sounds corny, like we can word this better.
Yeah.
That would be cool if we did this here. I don't know. There's one time I remember we were writing the lyrics for White Rabbit, and we both said like, "Hey, let's go. Y'all be over here. You'll be over here for 15 minutes." And we both came out of the rooms like bawling our eyes out together. It's like, I just wrote the best song I've ever written.
Yeah. Yeah. Corinne has a really big role in the lyrics for sure.
Yeah, you do everything else. It's not easy writing the lyrics either, so I understand that it is a group effort a lot of the time.
Yeah.
How do you guys deal with, having too many hands in the kitchen with everyone? Especially, you said you have you have 3 guitarists in the band, and everything else. How do you work through that?
That's something we're trying to figure out right now. I think so. It's a lot of communication and making sure that everybody is heard. It's like kind of being in like a polyamorous relationship almost. But yeah, I mean, it's working well so far, I'd say. Like I said, it just making sure that everybody has their respective input and hearing out ideas and working with each other to, whenever there's disagreements, finding a middle ground. And so that's working out well so far with the writing for the next record.
Yeah, I definitely think, when you have, it's a double-edged sword, there's things that each person can bring that can make the things better, but then it's also hard to concede sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So especially for me, going from like doing everything myself to having to bring in other hands, that was like there was like this internal struggle almost, right? I had to realize like this isn't entirely about me anymore, and so, but I think that's been good for me too, experience ego death in a way.
Corrine, how's it been on your side watching his ego death?
Oh my gosh. There's so many times that I would come home from work and he's just kind of like hunched over a desk with headphones in. I have to scream at him, Jack, what are you doing? What are you doing? But honestly, he just like, it was really nice. And I could tell that it was cathartic for you writing a lot of this, even though the recording process might not have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it did more good than harm, and you came out with a lot more skills. And now we know a trumpet player and a cello player and a viola player, and we have, originally we didn't have all of the same people in the band, so I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to articulate it. I don't know. I like all the hands in the kitchen.
You did. I forget. I was talking with one of my other friends. He was talking about that there's a certain point with music because he sits there and he wants to tinker with it and tinker with it and tinker with it. And if you keep doing it, you ruin it.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
learning that moment of when to step away.
It's very important. That's something that I've found, or there's something that I realized towards the end of the recording process. Because like Corrine said, I had recorded and produced, mixed, mastered everything myself. And at a certain point, I was just like, you know what? I just got to put it out.
Yeah.
And like, it's because otherwise I'm going to be working on it forever. And I'm really happy I did, honestly, because a lot of the songs were written back. I think Death Bloom was written towards the end of 2022. And so there's other ideas that I've been sitting on this entire time that I want to work on, and instead of just the same set of 10 songs. And yeah, it's really nice to be able to like move on to other stuff. I've had this like massive like outpour of creativity. So
yeah, you said you weren't going to continue working on music for a while.
Yeah, it was a lie.
Then a week after the album comes out, you said, hey, I have this idea. Does it sound good? Do you like this? So it never goes away.
Yeah, it never does.
You were probably just like, can he take a break already?
I mean, yes and no. I'm already excited to start writing lyrics and working on, getting better at like playing bass for this, probably adding more instruments if we don't already have enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideally, Crumbcatcher has 20 members. So.
Ideally.
No, just ideally, yeah. We need full string section, horns, like
yeah, because you're both in your early mid-20s, right?
I technically just entered my late 20s. I just turned 27.
I just started my mid-20s. I literally turned 25 in April this year. So
yeah,
wow.
I've got the quarter life crisis hitting right now. So the lyrics will be very sad on the next one.
Yeah, I could see that. I know. I gotta say, how did you entered into this adulthood when finally people are like, all right, go off and be on your own, and the whole world shut down?
Yeah.
How did you manage?
I wrote an album about it.
Then we wrote another one.
Yeah, we wrote another album about it. Yeah, it's tough. It feels like not to get all like deep and sad, but it feels like time kind of froze in 2020, and like I look back and I think back on it, and it's almost been 5 years, and I'm like, oh wow, it feels like 10 days have passed. I don't know. So but yeah, I mean, just getting by. We make emo music, and that's like a really good vessel for sad stuff.
Yeah,
so.
It's just a diary with guitars and stuff behind it.
Exactly.
I love that description. I like that. I'm a 2010s pop punk emo kid, so
nice.
Yeah, I like that.
So.
Yeah, I see the Simple Plan. Like, is that like a record, or is
it's actually their tour book.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it has their entire like story from fruition or from when they first started to, I think I got it 2020, maybe 2021.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because most of the records are Wonder Years records, so
yeah, I'm a huge Wonder Years fan. That's somebody that I didn't list in my influences that I probably should have. I own every single record on vinyl in like multiple copies for I think most of them. So
there's like Fall Out Boy is my go-to 100%. I've owned every album,
nice.
The whole nine. So I get it when you have that connection with a band,
Yeah, absolutely.
There has been a bit of a resurgence in the emo scene in general, the early 2000s, 2010s, that kind of music coming back. Do you think Midwest Emo is going to be making their comeback soon?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, of course, that means like a form of, I don't make any money from music, but like, I'm going to say it's a form of job security if it does. So of course it may be wishful thinking, but yeah, no, I absolutely think it will. You see I feel like it's bubbling under the surface right now. You have bands like, I don't know, like Arms Length and Saturdays at Your Place and whatnot. Like they're all, I feel like, getting way more popular. And there's also that huge like screamo resurgence happening right now, which is really cool.
Yeah, the young like there's that one, what is it? I don't know if it was just a shirt or something, but there's that Thursday, that thing from Thursday, just the kids are still screaming. And I really like that. And here in Vegas, we have Best Friends Forever Festival. All of our friends, all of the people in the music scene we know, we're all sending it to each other like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. What do you mean like American football is going to be playing in Las Vegas? Like, and it's not at a casino. So,
yeah, that's the most exciting part.
Yeah. And it's 3 days long. Nothing like that ever comes here. So I feel like that proves a point with how popular and like the resurgence is coming back.
Yeah.
And a lot of these bands have stuck around for 20 years. So the fact that they've been around for that long, job security, and there's people like us still releasing music with a little bit of inspiration from them it's nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I feel like anyone can make their comeback now that Oasis has announced theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. I can't believe that.
If you can stop hating each other for 2 seconds, you can make something beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. It's very true.
So you obviously play shows here in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Have you played I think I saw something about you playing shows in LA as well.
Yeah. So that's something I was informed that it's technically Orange County and not LA, but I don't know. Corinne's from LA.
Yeah, it kind of counts.
Yeah.
Close enough.
So yeah, we're playing a program Skate and Sound on October 26th, and I'm super excited about that because I've never played a show out of state. I've always been in Vegas, every band I've been in. I was supposed to tour with one of the bands I was in, but we ended up breaking up instead, which is common.
You like that?
Yeah. So this is the next shot that I have. Hopefully we don't break up before.
Both. No, I love Crumbcatcher so much. Like it feels like all of like the guitarists and our drummer, like they feel like my brothers, and it makes me feel so safe and so happy, like playing music with just like all of our friends, and we all agree on stuff for the most part. I mean, like that's just how family is. You'll disagree on stuff, but you just got to thug it out and talk it out.
So I know, Corrine, you go by she, they pronouns.
Yeah.
How do you deal with some of the stuff that happens at shows as a female presenting person?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I haven't thought about it like that. So I do feel like representation in a way, especially after our first show. My friend Hannah came up to me and said, Corrine, you were the only like female presenting person up there, and you got the room so loud whenever you did anything. Like, because I do a lot of like, yeah, I play bass and everything, but my vocals are a lot louder sometimes. Aside from White Rabbit, I'm screaming in a lot of these songs, and I plan on screaming until my throat gives out. But I really hope not, because I want to take care of myself.
Yeah, so we have throat coat.
Yeah, so I really look up to a lot of other people who present the same way. Like everyone will say like Hayley Williams, but also Courtney LaPlante. LaPlante?
I say LaPlante.
And Kat Moss from Scowl, just because they're very authentic and they don't take anything. I refuse to take any type of attitude from a man, especially at our shows. And even at the last show, somebody tried giving a backhanded compliment to our friend's band, saying like, oh, your band was better. And it's like, why would you put another woman down to lift another one up? It makes no sense. The scale is not even. So I just, you just kind of take it in stride. Like, I'm ignoring any bad thing anyone has to say about me just because of the way I present myself.
Yeah, dudes can be weird.
Yeah, dudes are weird. Like, I just ignore it. Like, in one ear, out the other.
Yeah, so.
And how do you, Jack, how do you react when someone is giving Corrine ish for being who they are?
I try and step in, and
honestly, a lot of the time, I don't need Jack for that.
Yeah,
I mean enough myself.
Yeah, honestly, Corrine is like way more aggressive and better at like getting dudes to.
I'm the one with road rage. Jack's the one in the seat, like, pretending to just playing on his phone in the car.
Yeah, exactly. But if dudes are being weird, I try and like get them to begin talking to me, and like I kind of step in the and
it's also a little easier that way sometimes, because it's like I don't want to have to fight at shows.
Yeah,
like even verbally, I don't want to have to be like, I don't know, confrontational at shows, especially because it's supposed to be like a fun environment for everybody. No, but I don't need that kind of behavior, attitude, like bringing anybody down.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta say, like, just from talking to you this little bit, seeing some of your pictures, you have a bit of a badass energy about you. I would be scared to see anything.
I agree. Corinne's scary, man. Like, especially when you're up on stage screaming. Like, I'm like, oh my God. Like, I watch the videos back. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, me too. I didn't know I could do that either. I'm really tiny. I'm 5'1". And some people, I feel like a lot of people don't expect that. But it's really like at the end of the day, there is a lot more praise than there is negativity. Yeah. And a lot of people are really just excited to see somebody that looks like them playing music. Yeah. I'm excited whenever. So I don't know. We're playing more shows and everything. So I've been trying to find more bands and everything that just aren't full of guys. So soon-ish, unannounced. I don't know. We're going to be playing with this one band here in Vegas. Their name is Diazepam. Like, I love them. Yeah, they're just so sick. Like,
that's something I want to try and push for too, is more people that aren't just white dudes in emo music, because that's part of the reason why I've had Corrine step in with lyrics too, because like I don't have anything to say anymore, you know. Like,
that's why, like, I feel like I can't say like their name, Mannequin P Word. Mannequin P Word. Scowl, Sweet Pill, Haley Williams, Linda's. Like, there's so much more than just like white dudes crying, like whiny white boys. Yeah. And it's like, even though like, don't get me wrong, like all those bands we talked about earlier, like Simple Plan, The Wonder Years, like I love all of that stuff. So if they can do it, I can do it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think emo music does have a bit of that sad guy at the party with his guitar feeling about it, but I also really like the fact that things are kind of being reinvented and looked at differently. I agree. One of my other current favorite artists, Honey Revenge.
Oh, nice. Yes, yeah. Devin is so cool.
She reminds me of my niece, and I love her.
Awesome.
And then Johnny, oh my God, nothing but respect for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry. So going back to your album, what has the reception been like?
It's been solid from what I've seen. We've had some cool bands reach out to us and say that they liked it, and I'm not gonna like name drop people, but some people that I like really respect in the scene, and just in general, like have like been like, oh wow, this is really cool, you guys are really good, and that's been awesome. It's been interesting playing the songs live, because obviously our live set follows the same dynamic that the album follows, where the first half is very soft and the second half is very heavy. And so whenever I start screaming in Death Bloom, everyone's like, wow. And I feel like it gets people's attention, which is maybe good for like a local band trying to come up, because people don't expect it, you know? But yeah, so I think it's been solid. A lot of people really like the emo stuff, which I guess I'm not surprised by.
We didn't know how people were going to take the album, so we just kind of waited it out and saw, because I don't know, like we didn't really think that one or the other side would be better or more well received than the other, but we were very surprised to see it was the heavier emo side. I think that's just because a lot of people, like even hardcore is having its moment right now. I feel like a lot of bands are going into that heavier sound, or like that more 90s inspired sound. So
everybody's also really sad too.
I
feel like that's a common thread around, like, especially with like the resurgence in country and the mainstream. Like I feel like country at its core is very depressing, or at least it's supposed to be. Like that's kind of like the OG emo music in my opinion. So like I feel like that is a good indicator of where the
we are.
collective mentality is.
Understandable. You know, how do you, I'm trying to figure out the way to word this sentence and it's just not working. So we're going to go to the next one and I'll come back.
Okay.
We'll come back.
Sounds good.
What has been your favorite venue to play here in Vegas?
Most of them are 21 plus.
Yeah.
So a lot of them have been bars. And we're trying to find more all ages ones.
Yeah.
I really
like the Usual Place whenever we played there.
Was fun.
Yeah. I like any venue where they actually like mic up our amps and drums. That like if it isn't that, I love playing house shows. Honestly, like the energy at house shows.
I don't think house shows are like super common anymore because it's like, what are you doing in here?
Yeah.
But honestly, like our first show was really fun because it was at the Griffin, and that's right off of Fremont Street. So people just came in and were like, what is this? Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
I would look over like in the middle of playing something and there's somebody's like face like coming out from the doorway. And it was really funny. We're going to be playing at Gold Spike on
Thursday, September
on Thursday.
5th.
So I'm really excited for that. I saw videos of the venue. It's outdoors, but there's like a stage. We're going to be playing in front of like an Airstreamer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Super wild.
I know exactly where you're talking about. That's gonna be a cool show. Maybe I'll try and make it to that one.
Yeah, it'd be awesome to see you. I'm really excited for that. We're lots of really cool bands on that one too, like Twin Cities and Paper Dad, and Final Last Words is coming here from California, which like it's like a cool full circle moment for me because I was supposed to. In one of my old bands, I was supposed to play with them like 10 years ago, almost to the day. But I ended up quitting the band because of, I was 16, 17 and 16, 17-year-old musicians could be a little difficult to work with sometimes. So I finally get to play with them 10 years later. So,
it all worked out in the end for you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Besides, obviously the Wonder Years in American football, who would you love to tour with?
Oh, that's a great question.
Thursday.
Yeah. Honestly, like if I were to be able to like pick any band out of like a hat, maybe not out of a hat, but just in general, Thursday would probably be number one. I think that Jeff Rickley's ethos is like it's everything that I feel like a musician should be. And I really love how passionate he is about music and alternative music in general. My brother was in this experimental noise band that went viral a couple of years ago. And whenever the entire internet was dogging on them, he was one of the small handful to actually come out and defend them. And I like that kind of, I don't know, like obviously that I wasn't the one receiving hate in that situation, but seeing him do that, I think is truly a testament to who he is as a person, and how like what he does for alternative music in general.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know, anybody else?
It's really, I think sonically, like it's really only Thursday and maybe Paramore. If Paramore chooses to play awesome. Like really heavy stuff on their tour too.
I'm also a huge Fall Out Boy fan, so if that could ever happen, that would be.
I will be at that show. I will find a way.
Are you going to When We Were Young?
I am definitely trying to.
Nice.
Tickets were a little on the expensive side, so
I know.
I did get to go last year, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Thursday was there last year, so
yes.
I got to see them in passing.
Awesome.
One of my actually recent shows that I got to go to was at the Griffin, and it was Idlefield.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing the 20th anniversary of the Remember Right Now album.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy that album is that old, but two, my dog is drinking water in the background right now. I'm sorry if you can hear him.
Sammy,
Not to. I'll get back to the topic at hand in just a second. But every time that happens, I just think about this one video of this lady that's working from home and she's on a meeting. They have like this like big. I think it's like a black lab or something like that, just aggressively drinking water in the background.
Talking about too.
He really likes to be a part of things. So, but anyways, yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I really wanted to go to that show. I forget why I wasn't able to go. I think I had a work thing. But yeah, that's so cool. How was it?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I saw Spitalfield back in the day opening for Plain White Tees.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like this was, I'm also from LA, so like this is, 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and it was so cool to get to go and see them and sounding just the same as I remember.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. I know that there's been some like excuse me, some surprisingly like popular bands playing at the Griffin lately. Like I know that Race Trader was just there I think like a month or two ago.
That was really
and I don't know, it's wild.
There?
Yeah, like I feel like that they're a band that could easily do like I don't know, like a bigger venue.
Yeah.
So, but I understand as a hardcore band wanting to play smaller rooms like that. Like I said, I love playing house shows. Like
it's different if the room is like you can only fit maybe like 70 people in there.
Yeah.
I have to say, like, one of my favorite venues to this day is, I think it's called Airy Legion out in Henderson.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And it's like a room.
Yeah.
Hey, come here.
Sammy.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, my dog's.
He really? Oh, you can see him. Hi,
yeah,
buddy.
He's right here.
Oh
Sammy.
my
Come here, baby. It's okay. He's okay. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy.
Is he a bulldog?
No. Here, come here. Come over here, buddy. No, are you gonna be difficult right now? That's okay. I love Eagle Area Hall. Like I said, I grew up down the street. Yeah, and so whenever they started doing shows there around 2013 or 2014, I was going there all the time. I saw some really, really cool bands.
Oh, you saw Polyphia play there.
Yeah, I saw Polyphia play there whenever they were like a tiny band, and it was like maybe like 50 people showed up, like and I also saw Forever Came Calling there, I think in 2013. I've seen Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties play there. That was 2017. Yeah, I don't know. I now that you say it, I think that's my favorite venue in town because I just have so much like history and so many memories tied to it. So
yeah, the one show I went to there was Set It Off.
Oh, when was that?
Oh God, that was 2018. I want to say.
My old band opened for that show.
Seriously?
Yeah. So if you were there when Coastal Skyway was playing, that was Jack.
Yeah, I played 2 shows with them, and that was the second show that we played before we broke up. So that's really funny. Vegas is a really small town.
Yeah, it really is in every sense of the word small. Yeah. If people want to know more about you guys, they want to get in contact, they want to find out about the music, where do they go?
So Instagram is the best place to reach us in case you're trying to extend show offers or anything like that. But all of our social media is at Crumbcatcher NV, like NV as in Nevada. We except for TikTok, I guess that's just at Crumbcatcher.
We got lucky with that one.
Yeah, I was very early user of TikTok, so got lucky with my handles. But yeah, and then Crumbcatcher.band, Spotify, just Crumbcatcher, one word. There's another band that's I think 2 words. We are not them. They're based in like North Carolina. They make punk stuff. That's not us. We are Crumbcatcher, one word. Yeah, and then every streaming service too. If you want to check out our new record, Infinite Feedback.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and kind of walk down memory lane.
Absolutely. That's something that I do. If you can't tell by my music, I'm a very I feel a lot of nostalgia very frequently. So especially for like my teen years. So
we'll get over it.
Yeah, eventually. That's why we got therapy.
Yeah. I'm in my mid-30s. You don't get over it. It just gets worse.
That's what our friends tell us.
Yeah.
Maybe we have to learn the hard way.
Exactly.
Well, thank you again so much. Thank you guys. So yeah, I will follow up with you guys later about possibly catching a show.
Awesome.
Right.
Yeah, just let us know. DM us on Instagram, obviously, and we'll be happy to get you in. So yeah, just let me know.
Well, thank you so much for your time again. Have a great night.
Thanks,
Give your
you as
puppy
well.
lots of loves.
Will do.
Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Have a good one.
All right, bye.
All right, everybody. So that was Crumbcatcher from here in Las Vegas, Nevada. New Midwest Emo kind of band. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this live. Write down below what you would like or who you would like me to interview. And I will do my best to do that. Thank you guys so much for sticking around with us. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.